What's going on, everybody? It's Mdog5. Welcome back to another video, and we're here. We have one of the biggest videos to start off the new year, even though it's not actually the new year yet. Shit takes a while to edit sometimes. Anyways, we're gonna be rating on a tier list all of the popular Geometry Dash, Dubstep. Well, not all of them, but I do have over 100 songs. I did ask you guys in a poll what you wanted me to rate, and I already had like 90 something songs before I asked that question. So there's gonna be some things that I missed. There's gonna be some things that I include, but I did make a tier list and I put it in the link down in the description below. So if you guys want to check that out and make your own version of what I have, feel free. So just a couple of things before we start. This is my opinion and not objective, but I am going to do my best to be consistent and to be reasonable with my rankings. I don't have any like music background or whatever, so I'm not really like qualified to give an objective opinion anyways, but I have been listening to these tracks, all of them at least 2 times, multiple times. All of them have been listened to at least 2 or 3 times, and then some of them I've been listening to literally for more than 10 years. And then finally, no disrespect to any of the artists, some of these songs are going to be ranked kind of low, and that's just my opinion at the end of the day. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, this is the second recording. I'm going to try to make it a little bit quicker because, you know, we're going to be here for a little bit. But just so you know, everything is alphabetized. So if you want to skip to a particular song that you want to hear me rank or see me rank, just go to the first letter of the name of the song and look at the timestamp, because I will have the timestamps up. Airborne Robots, I think it's going to be an A tier. Great. I think this is F-777s. I think this is like a strong song for him. One thing that I will say that's holding the song back is that, you know, the second half is kind of exactly the same, but I do like how it starts off nice and slow and then it picks up with the hook. And by hook I mean like a distinct sound that is like central to the song that gets replayed, like is like the core basically sound of the song. And then you have violins that, you know, like when it picks up, like leading to the drop, like the violins are just going AWOL. Like I love it. But I do think that it suffers because the second half is very similar to the first half. I think that's a flaw with a lot of the songs from dubstep in general, is that the second half is just kind of identical to the first half, and then I think a lot of artists know this and then they try to do some weird things to compensate for that fact, and I just don't think that it really plays that well. When a song does it well, I'll definitely take that into consideration. But other than that, I think Airborne Robots is a pretty strong pick. Put in A tier. This is At the Speed of Light, masterpiece. I mean, it's the community's favorite song for a reason. Even if Bloodbath never existed, as a piece of music, this is like really impressive. It kind of just takes you on a journey, you know what I mean? I mean, the song is so good, we used it for so many famous levels, like Bloodbath, Cataclysm, Aftermath, Bloodlust. I mean, there's just like the Apocalyptic trilogy, even though that's not as substantial as the 4 I just listed. I mean, still, like, Dim Rain did his shit, and it definitely changed the history of Geometry Dash for sure. Definitely one of the most impactful songs. Back on Track, honestly, I have it at C tier. It's not very strong of a song. It's not very complex. It just has a hook, some snares, and then claps. You know what I mean? And then you also have to consider that like the second half is almost the exact same as the first half. Bass After Bass is also going into C tier. It's literally the same thing as Back on Track. It's just a different hook. Some snares in the background and then some claps. I will say, like, towards the second half, kind of shook it up a little bit, like the doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. I fucked with that. I am going to put this over Back on Track. And yes, we are going to be ranking levels within each tier. So, yeah, man, this is going to get real interesting. Bass After Bass 2.0 is a stronger song. I'm going to put that at good. I think that it sounds more modern, obviously. The updated instruments makes the sound, or excuse me, the song sound more complex. It sounds like it just has a little bit more depth. And yeah, I think that's like a good place to put it, right at B tier. Bass Night by Boom Kitty. So Boom Kitty, I'm gonna try to watch out for artist bias because I do like the sound of certain artists more than I like the sound of others. Boom Kitty, I don't really like their style of music, but regardless, I don't think Bass Night is that good of a song. I'm gonna put it high C tier and decent because it sounds like it never gets to what it wants to be as a song, if that makes sense. It always sounds, or excuse me, it feels like it's building up to something or trying to build up to something, but then it never gets there. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion, though. This is Betrayal of Fate. So I think Goku-san, I'm going to put it at above Bass After Bass 2.0. You know, I think that there's some like really good instruments there. The guitar is obviously the main instrument. It feels very fresh, very original. But the theme, Betrayal of Fate, I don't know. I don't really feel it, you know what I mean? But other than that, I think like the hook is pretty good. But then I think it kind of like drags on a little bit with the guitar, like towards the end, even though the guitar is good. So I think that's what it is. I think it's just a good song. Betrayal of Fear, though, I am going to put that at great. Honestly, it's going to go above Airborne Robots. It's going to be close to amazing, so high great tier. I think that this is just a better version of Betrayal of Fate. I think that like it has a really cool intro with I think it's a bell. And then the guitar comes in, it builds up. The guitar solo is absolutely sick. And then again, it just makes you feel like you're on a journey, kind of like at the speed of light. But unlike the speed of light like takes you on like a complete journey. Like it feels like there's a beginning, middle, and end. Betrayal of Fear, like towards the end, it kind of repeats itself. It kind of just like drags on again. But I think it's just a better version of Betrayal of Fate, in my opinion. Can't Let Go. I mean, okay, what you have to realize about like the DJ VI songs is that they're made like a long time ago. So yeah, it kind of lacks complexity, but it's like no shame on DJ VI. I guess it was made like early in the game's life. It's just not gonna be like on par with newer songs in terms of like complexity, in terms of sound. I think it's kind of just like a better version of Bass After Bass. But it's the same exact layout as like Bass After Bass, same exact format as Back on Track. So yeah, I'm gonna put it. Do I put it below Bass Night? I think it's fair because it's kind of old. This is Cane Swinging by F-777. I'll put it at I'll put it good in front of Betrayal of Fate. I think that the hook is very distinct. It's very high energy, but it's kind of, I mean, like the album is called Like It Sir. I think that that kind of describes it. It's kind of like an upbeat, like funky version of like British proper that kind. I don't even know how to describe it, but I do think that the hook is really cool. The bass drop is really cool. But then like after the quiet part, like in the in between with the drums, it just like repeats itself again. And I told you, F-777 or Jesse Valentine does not give a fuck. he just does that, bro. He just like repeats. He's just like, all right, I made this. Let me make it a little bit longer and put the first half back into the second half and to wrap it up. That's what it feels like. So yeah, Cane Swinging, I think it's a good song. Classical VIP, honestly, I'm gonna put it above Airborne Robots, below Betrayal of Fear. I do think it's a really good song. It's one of the Ruckus songs that it sounds emotional to me almost. And I think like that drop, like that pre-drop in the middle of the song, like an organ, not an organ, but it does sound like a distinct kind of piano. Maybe you guys know the actual instrument, but yeah, that like pre-drop, that ding 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 ding, like that shit was hard as fuck. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, and then you have like the bells going off in the background. It just sounds like it. I don't know. It's just very complex, and I think it's a really good piece of work. Climax, I'm gonna put this under Classical VIP. I know that a lot of people like this song and consider it a classic. It just didn't really do it that much for me. I do think that the way that it's structured is really good, and I can see how the hook is like a classic or like very enjoyable to other people. But just in my opinion, I don't know. It didn't really evoke anything for me. It didn't do much for me, but I do admit that it is a pretty great song. Club Step. Where am I gonna rate Club Step? It's an A tier, but where do I want to put it? I don't think it's as good of a song as Classical VIP, and I can see how people will put Club Step below Climax. Yeah, I'll put it under Climax. I think Club Step is a really great body of work. It's imposing, it's intimidating, but it's also like a head bob. You know what I mean? Like once that bass hits, that's a head bob, and then like the second half is tough, bro. Like just straight up like dark dubstep. I love it, bro. Club Step is a really solid song. Clutterfunk by Waterflame. To me, the actual song, like the intro, I think it runs on for a little bit too long. And we're talking about like the full songs. We're not talking about just the Geometry Dash, Rob Top edited version of each song. So I think like the very beginning is it takes a little bit too long to get to like the actual song. But what I will say is that the theming is great. It sounds like you're in like a robotic factory or something like that, and then like towards the end it sounds like a robot, like one of those robots came to life and now you're like in a battle with it. Like I don't know if that makes sense. That's just how it makes me feel. I think Clutterfunk is a really strong song. I wouldn't put it like above Betrayal of Fate, Classical VIP, because those are actually like really great bodies of work. Not to say that Clutterfunk isn't. For me, it's above Climax. I think it's a little bit more complex. Climax is kind of just like, you know, like a distinct sound, but it sticks to a formula. Clutterfunk kind of like is original, and it really executes its theme pretty well. With the only thing that I have is like it takes too long to actually get into the song. All right, so this is this? I think this is Code Red because we're at C. So yeah, this is Code Red. So this is like the Death Corridor song. I don't know. I'll put it. Yeah, I think that it's fair. I think I'll put this like below Betrayal of Fate, above Bass After Bass. The bass drop is pretty good, pretty distinct. But Code Red, I just feel like it. The hook tries to show up in ways after like the drop is over, and I just kind of think it overstays its welcome just a little bit, and that's something that you'll hear me say a lot. This is Crazy by Creo. So but I'm trying not to be biased. This one's hard for me. I don't know whether it's high S tier or masterpiece. Honestly, for now we're gonna put it at high S tier. Crazy, I mean, like for me there's nothing really wrong with it. I mean, the beginning is pretty good. It starts off nice and calm, and then it picks up just beautifully. And then like you have like the actual drop. You know, I'm gonna put it at masterpiece for now. I'll put it like, yeah, because it's emotional. If like for me at least, it's like a little bit emotional. Like it also feels like just like at the speed of light. It feels like it takes you on a journey. But then like the second half of the song just like picks it up just beautifully. Man, Mdog, be quiet. Okay, I massively undersold how good I think Crazy is. So like the beginning is kind of calm, ethereal almost, and then it picks up, and then it gives you one of the sickest bass drops, and then it keeps going and going, and then it winds down and then just stops, and then it picks back up slowly. It has an insane guitar solo, then it picks up again with more intensity, and then the second half after that bass drop is just the first half, but like a lot more intense and a lot better. I love this song, bro. Like I feel like this is one of Creo's best works. That's saying something considering we're talking about Creo, probably one of the most respected artists here in terms of like music quality. This is Cry by Extrulier. Honestly, this might be a hot take, but I don't think Cry is like super strong. I'm going to put it above Bass Night. I think that the hook is just like really recognizable, and then you have like some sirens kind of blaring in the background. I feel like it's just like a slightly more complex and original song that follows the same format as like Can't Let Go. It's very like, you know, I just think it sticks to one thing and it tries to ride that wave the whole time. Dark Dragonfire. Really good piano, but almost like choir like hums in the background. It's definitely a vibe. I'm gonna put it, is it above Airborne? I wouldn't put it above Airborne, but I am gonna put it at great. Deadlocked. This is S tier for sure. One of F-777. Did I say that I was gonna refer to F-777 as Jesse Valentine? All right. So Jesse Valentine. This is like one of his best works in my opinion. Very impactful for the game, obviously. But that aside, I think that the song is just like really, really good. I do think that the hook kind of drags on a bit. I didn't think that we needed to repeat the drop until we got like, so like let's just put it this way. I think like if you have Rob Top's version of Deadlocked with like the second half of it and you put that together, I think that the song is a masterpiece. But I think that we did not need to repeat the drop a second time. Honestly, I think that's like the only flaw. I do think that the like the in between, like the sort of slow in between section is a little bit too slow, but honestly other than that, like the drop is really original, unique, very good in my opinion. And then like the second half, despite it kind of being slow, it kind of picks up like the sound of the drop of the first half and kind of like it feels like it's going somewhere, and then you get like the drop again. Which is a really good drop. So yeah, I think the song's amazing. Masterpiece is like an amazing song that I really can't find anything wrong with. Amazing is just like an amazing song with like a little bit of flaws. So I think that's the difference between your At the Speed of Light, You're Crazy versus a Deadlocked, you know? This is Death Note Dubstep, the song used for Abyss of Darkness. I'm gonna put it, I'm not like a huge Death Note kind of viewer, but I think that like in terms of making a dubstep version of an anime theme song, I think it did really good. I think that the vibe is ominous, and then I think it picks up really well the higher pitch of like the theme song. I think it like makes you feel a sort of way, and I feel like it's a good love letter to like Death Note fans. I will say the second half is kind of like, okay. Like I'm kind of bored by the second half. Like it's definitely first half carried in my opinion. I'll put it above Code Red, below Betrayal of Fate. I think that's fair. Deimos by Sulkrag. Or Sulkrag. I don't know. Some of these names are are kind of iffy. I think this is a really good body of work. I think that it's better than Phobos. For sure. Deimos is a better like song than Phobos. It has like a really good structure. You can actually tell like what the person is saying. I will say it doesn't have the same atmosphere as Phobos, but I think that it's just like a higher quality song. Between like the organ, the drop is really fire. The do 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 do, and then you just have like stuff that's mixed up, like the I don't know, like it's like the DJ spin equivalent to dubstep. I think honestly it's gonna be a high grade. I think that it's above Betrayal of Fear, above Classical. Okay, so this is Dimension by Creo. This is also gonna go right at amazing. It's one of the earlier Creo songs. It's like his 20-something-th song. And I think that this is like once Carmel used it for Black Blizzard, that's what kind of started the fan base for Creo, and like people were like, oh shit, like this guy can actually make good music. But yeah, this song is like really good. The saxophone is good. I think it builds itself up really nicely, and then it kind of tones and mellows itself out towards the end really well. So honestly, good sounding song, and it's a very well structured song. Question for you: where do you think you're going? I mean, bro, this is dubstep. This is like just pure dubstep. It does get slow from time to time, but I mean, you take a hook that's already interesting, and then you just like you put other stuff, you combine it with other stuff that just makes like for like head bobs, and then you slow it down, and then you just come back with like even better energy, and then you do it again and get, bro. This is fire, bro. This is Panda Eyes' best song in my opinion. Absolutely, like, just amazing body of work. Like, this is dubstep, honestly. It's a mix between like, it's not really house dubstep, and it's not really like soft dubstep. It's like a good mix of both, you know what I mean? Okay, Dryo almost falls victim to the same shit that Can't Let Go, Bass After Bass, Back on Track does, because it is another DJ VI, an early DJ VI structured song. But honestly, I think that the hook is a little bit more enjoyable, so that's just gonna bring it up. And then I think that like as it goes on, it gets a little bit more complex. It's not just like hook, background track, you know, and then that's it, call it a day. I think that it actually like, you know, like some more complex sounds are introduced throughout like the middle and the ending. So I'm gonna put this at, honestly, I think it's better than Bass After Bass 2.0. Would I say it's better than Code Red? I will say that it's better than Code Red. I'm not gonna put it above Death Note Dubstep though, but I do think that, you know, that range kind of makes sense. Ado by Jamaica, I'm just like, who gave this nigga the go ahead to like put porn into the song? Like, bro, like when I was younger and I was hearing that shit, I'm like, bro, am I hearing this correctly? I'm like, yo, and he does it in multiple instances. Yo, oh my god, bro. Do you know how funny it was to beat Ado? That aside, bro, okay, no, but like imagine, like I put a start position like near the drop, and all I hear is, oh god. I just hear a bitch get, yo, let me stop, bro. Oh my gosh, she sounds like she's over there, bro. Anyways, where am I gonna put the actual song? I think that it repeats itself, kind of like a lot of the other songs do. I think that, you know, it has like that sort of like temperature rising sound, and I think it kind of like makes it kind of intense and, you know, just a little bit of a head bob vibe. I'm gonna put it underneath Cane Swinging, above Betrayal of Fate. I think that's pretty fair. Electrodynamics. Okay, so the first half is really good. You know, it's strong. It comes off as though like electrical hazard kind of vibe, you know, like the name of the song is Electrodynamics, and it fits that vibe in the first half. And then you get into the second half, and then it's just like a completely different song, and then it like tries to reel its way back in, and I'm like, I mean, like, it sounds good, but like you're not sticking to the vibe, you know what I mean? I'd say it's, yeah, I'll put it in between Ado and, yeah, I'll put it, yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, Endgame. What's the vibe of this song? This is the Decode X song. I think Door Basics, one of the Door Basics, used this song. I think it's a strong song. Because Cane Swing repeats itself, I am going to put it at the top of good. It sounds like sort of like arcadey, if that makes sense. Sort of like retro, which is what I think it was going for. I don't know. It has like a little bit of like the clown music towards the end, but it sounds like like you're fighting a boss fight in a game that you're playing like at an arcade. And I think that like that vibe is really good, and I think that Waterflame did like a really good job sticking to that. Kind of sounds like circus music a little bit too, like I said, like the clown theme. But I think like it's a good blend, you know. I don't think it's like a super great song, but I do think that it's like a pretty good body of work. So we're at E, so that makes this Endorphins. So this is the song for Endorphin Rush by Taemin, and I just think that like the song pulls you in so many different directions. Like, to be honest, like the first half is like fine, but then like we get to the Endorphin Rush part of the song, which is the best part of the song. I think like not many people would disagree with that. And then you have like the ending part, which I just feel like it's kind of annoying. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it, honestly, I'll put it above 8-0, underneath Electro. If it's above 8-0, it probably should also be above Electro. But it just takes you in so many different directions. Event Horizon, either this or Splatterhouse has to be X-Core's best work, which honestly I don't know many X-Core songs. I do know Magnum. I mean, okay, so Event Horizon is the Erebus song, in case you guys were wondering. I think that it's pretty cool. I actually do think it's kind of like space, outer space kind of sounding for a little bit. I mean, it sounds like you're doing something on outer space and then you like run into a problem and then you're like trying to escape that like problem, whether it be like a monster or like a world's exploding or whatever. I think like Event Horizon is a pretty decent like name for the song, and I think that it sticks to its theme pretty well. I do think like, remember that problem, like the first half, second half being almost the same. And then artists will do kind of weird things to compensate for that. I think that this is like the perfect example where the second half is basically the same thing as the first half. But in that second half, you get sort of like weird noises to try to compensate and try to make it different. And then it just like stops with all the bullshit. And then it's just like completely the same as the first half after a little bit. I still think it's a great song though. I do want to put it above Dark Dragonfire. Dark Dragonfire is just like, you know, kind of calm, you know, kind of like chill. I think that honestly it's like the same thing as Airborne Robots, but I think that Airborne Robots will appeal to a more general audience than Event Horizon would. Energy Drink. The classic. Yeah, I think that this is an amazing song. Honestly, I'm going to put it right under Drippy Dub. This is like a classic. The drop is just sick. It changes itself up a little bit, and then it goes back into the drop, and then it's just like pure dubstep, kind of like Drippy Dub. It's just like if you want to introduce somebody to dubstep, you would play that song. Like, it's just like, I don't know, quintessential to dubstep. I will say it kind of drags on like at the very end, but that's just the very end. You know what I mean? Like everything else in between is just pure gas. Okay, cool. So now we have, I'm going to turn this volume down a little bit. We have Every End, and this is a long-ass song. But honestly, it's a Dim Rain 47 song, so how bad can it be? With that being said, I think that, like, the theme is pretty cool. And I think that Dim Rain 47 did, like, a pretty good job in terms of mixing it up and keeping you interested throughout the 7.5 minutes of the song. I think it's even more than that. I'd say it's above Clubstep. Okay, yeah, I think that Clutterfunk is kind of like too unique and complex for Every End to be above it. Every End doesn't really vary from its original sound that much, but yeah, I think that's a good place for it, honestly. Evil. So actually, this was like a Ruckus song that I was gonna use to make like a fucking 9 Circles level like 12 years ago. I can't make a 9 Circles level now. I definitely couldn't back then. So. But no, this song has been on my radar for a very long time. I'm going to put it, yeah, above Electro, yeah, after Cane Swinging. I think that's fair. I think that Evil does a good job of making it sound like a little bit more hardcore than the rest of his other works. Eyes in the Water. So Six Impala makes kind of like weird music on purpose. And I think that Eyes in the Water is actually like a pretty decent sounding one. A lot of people haven't heard how like weird the second half of the song is, because they took like it got popular because of Eyes of the Water, Geometry Dash, and that part is kind of like unique, and I can see how it like works for dubstep. But like the second half is like, I don't know, like it's already like an acquired taste, but I think like the second half kind of pushes it. I'll say it's above Bass Night, underneath Cry. I think that's fair. Okay, Fairy Dust. I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely a weird sounding song, kind of like Eyes in the Water, but like it's not as different, you know, as Eyes in the Water is kind of out there. Like, I could at least see what Ruckus was going for. I don't know, it sounds like a demonic tooth fairy kind of vibe to the song. That being said, like I think that like some actual good dubstep is present in the song. I think that honestly the second half might be a little stronger. I like the second pre-drop more than the first pre-drop. And then I like the first drop more than the second drop. But I think in terms of quality, it's kind of, you know, consistent. But it does, you know, fall victim to like the first half. Second half is the same. The artist tries to compensate and does weird stuff to the second half. But I'm not gonna lie, like I think that Ruckus did like a pretty good job with the second half of this one. I think that it was unique enough to where it's not like, oh, you're just trying to throw shit on to the second half. You know, it's almost there. It almost feels that way, but I think that it's like stand out enough. So I'm gonna put it at B tier. Where in B tier? Above Dry Out. Yeah, I think that that's fair. I'll put it below Death Note Dubstep. Okay, Final Battle. This is a long, drawn out song. I don't know, the first half kind of feels unnecessary, kind of off theme. But then like once you get to the Acropolis part of the song and then there afterwards, I think it kind of becomes like a really strong, solid song. I will say that the theming is really good. It feels like you're getting ready for a final battle. And then it happens, and then it's like, it feels like it's difficult for you, and then like as the song progresses, it feels like the final battle, like you're starting to win it. That's kind of how it feels. And because like I can detect that theme very well, I'm actually gonna say that it's gonna be like on the top of good. I will say that it's above I do think it's above Endgame. So yeah, I'm gonna put it at the top of good. I don't think it's quite A tier because like the beginning is just like so like, I don't know, kind of like a mess. Here's the thing about Finger Bang. I really like Finger Bang. I think that the buildup is really good. I think the drop is pretty good. I think after the drop, post drop, is like another drop in and of itself. Like it's just so fire. It's just that like the hook just repeats itself over and over and over again. It's not even like first half, second half structure. It's just like MDX just would not let the sound go. You know what I mean? But other than that, I think this is like a really fire song. I just think that like it overstays its welcome just a little bit. I think that this is fair. Honestly, I think that it's like a really strong song that suffers from its structure more so than like it's not as good because of the way it sounds. I think it sounds absolutely amazing. Okay, this is Firepower. The song kind of just doesn't go anywhere. And trust me, like I listened to this song a lot when I was a kid. I don't know, it's definitely intense. It keeps its intensity. I think if you play Chaotic Hell, I think that like the Chaotic Hell portion of the song is really good, and then it kind of just like, it's definitely drawn out, and then like it's like Chaotic Hell after the long drawn out middle, it repeats itself. Like the beginning third is basically the last third of the level, except it's like a little bit more intense and it has like that temperature increase kind of sound effect. I don't really know how to describe that, but yeah, I think that placement is fair. First of the year, I feel like this song is kind of what like made dubstep sort of mainstream. Like it came out so early in like the dubstep genre's lifespan, however you want to say it. And honestly, like it's just a fucking banger, because I do think that these songs are all better bodies of work as far as like how they're structured. You know, all these are like newer than this song, I believe. Nostalgia aside, like this song kind of like put dubstep on the map, sort of. I mean, like it's unique, yeah, but it's not like ridiculously out there. You know what I mean? Like it's a fucking banger. The one thing that I do say is that holds it back is that like because it's like a young, early, old dubstep song, the second half is very similar to the first half. But I mean, like, bro, like the call 911 now, like, bro, there's just like this shit is a classic. I mean, I don't know, and it's like, again, just like Energy Drink, just like Drippy Dub, it's like real dubstep. It's like the perfect embodiment of dubstep. Flawless Wings of Yatagarasu. I think that this song is like good at communicating that like there's like a presence that's awakening and like okay, now you got to deal with it because it has awoken. Like that's the vibe that it gives off, and I like how it gets quiet towards the middle and then it like slowly picks back up, and then it's like I don't know, it just feels foreboding and kind of like a you're in danger, and then it kind of levels off and it's like, okay. It kind of, in a similar sense to like Final Battle, it feels like you're in a boss fight and then you're like losing and then you have to like, all right, pull yourself together. And then it's like you found out what that thing is and now you're like winning the boss fight. Like that's how the song progresses. I think this is a really good body of work, honestly. I think that, I'll say for now it's above Deimos. Just because Deimos doesn't make you, it doesn't take you anywhere. It's just like a really good song. Flow. This is almost a masterpiece, honestly. I think that we can safely put it above Drippy Dub. The saxophones, incredible. Like, really, really good use of the sax. I know Creo loves the saxophone, but like, this was really good. It starts off slow, then it just like picks up really beautifully. It's not like overpowering, like strong dubstep, you know? It's not like upbeat. It's just like nice and mellow and calm. It's just like a really, really beautiful piece of music, you know what I mean? After like the nullscapes part, I will say it kind of dies down a little too much, but then it like picks itself back up, and I think that like the second drop is even better than the first drop. There's just like a bigger emphasis on the saxophone. There's like a background sort of hum that complements the saxophone, like the main hook, and it kind of just elevates it. And it's also kind of like an emotional piece of music as well. Like none of these other songs are like truly that emotional, but like then you have Flow that just brings like another element into it. So yeah, I think it's really strong. Fracture, I don't know, it sounds like you just won something at an arcade. Like you have your hook and then it dies down for no reason and then it comes back sort of the same, like with some variations. So I mean, it's structured pretty much the same as other Ruckus songs, but it just doesn't really do it for me. I think that in terms of an actual song, I would put it like right below Dry Out. I'm not gonna lie, I do think Dry Out is a better song. Rain Breeze. This is a song that was requested to me to be in this video by one of my IRL friends. And I'm not gonna lie, nigga, you were tripping, bro. It's just like, this shit was not, I mean, okay, no disrespect, but it just feels like there's nothing going on, you know? It just feels like background music, and I'm not even trying to be funny, like I'm not trying to be petty. I have no, like, bro, I'm judging it, like this is just straight up my opinion. I don't know, like there's no theme, it just sounds like background music. This nigga literally sent me a text message and was like, yo, check this song out. Like, bro, for real? Nigga, you're gonna send me a text message saying check this shit out? Like, this shit better be fire, bro. I'm gonna put it below Back on Track. I don't think it's like ass. I'm not gonna put it at D or F, but you know, there's just like not a lot there. Furious, I think that it kind of takes you on a journey. I think like the first 2.5 minutes are super strong, and then it just like repeats itself. Like literally, like no variation, verbatim repeats itself. But I do like the song at its core. I think the singing complements it pretty well. I am going to put it at good. I'll put it above Final Battle. I think that's fair. The official Geometry Dash theme song by MDX. There's a lot going on in this song. Feels kind of arcadey, retro-like. I don't think it's bad. I just think that it's not as good as a lot of like what we have up here already. So I'm gonna say that I feel like it's like around Fairy Dust, honestly. I think that it's like right below Fairy Dust. Genesis is gas, bro, by Mafia Pineapple. Genesis is fire as fuck. It comes in, the bass is kicking, and then you have like the hook, and then you have the pre-drop, and then you have just like after the pre-drop, just straight dubstep, and then it like builds on itself, and then it like do like with the, it's basically like a repeat of like the first part of the song, but it's like the like very much more fast paced and upbeat. Yeah, I think that this is a pretty strong song. What I will say is like the end kind of like again repeats itself, but I think that it varies. Like it includes enough variation in like what it's repeating that it's honestly fine. You know, I'm gonna put it above club step. Yeah, I think this is fair. Right above clutter funk, below classical. I think that's fair. Gravity by Multex. It's super, super, super well done all the way up until like the end of the second drop, and then again it's verbatim the same as like the first drop, like no variation, like just dead ass the same. But honestly, like the drop was so good the first time that I don't mind hearing it again for like the last 30 seconds of the song. I'm gonna put it up at amazing. I'm gonna keep it below Theory of Skrillex because Theory of Skrillex, I don't think it's like as good of a piece of work as like a Deadlocked, as a Dimension, as a energy drink, but I think it's strong enough to be an amazing. And we're gonna keep it below First Year because that's a straight classic, a straight banger. This is Hailfire by Ruckus. This was actually, I just had to add it in because it was requested by one of my fans that I include this, and somebody said that it's like the evil version of Jawbreaker. And I think that's a very accurate way to put it. It's like the same structure to where like they sound similar and then it sort of like repeats itself in the middle, and then the second half is the same as the first half in terms of the drop, except like it's like a really, really good remix. I'm not gonna lie to you though, Hailfire cannot fuck with Jawbreaker. Like NK or Ruckus tried to fucking remix it like in the same sort of like way, like by chopping and splicing this shit up. Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, this does not fuck with Jawbreaker. Jawbreaker is fire. I think like the bass song is a little bit weaker than Jawbreaker, but I still think it's good. I'll put it like right next to Evil. I think it's pretty fair to put them close to each other. I think these are interchangeable, so I'll just leave them like that. Then you have Haunted Woods. This is the same album as Clutterfunk, by the way. So I think the vibe is there. I think that it gives you the vibe that you are walking in like haunted woods, I guess, and you run into something that you have to fight. I will say that like it sounds like it's building up to something, and then that something leads to like a repeat of the drop, but I still think it's a pretty solid song. I'm gonna put it, I do think it's better than Endgame. Okay, because Final Battle's all over the place in the first half, I will say that it's better. I think that like once it gets good, Final Battle is better than Haunted Woods in my personal opinion, but because Haunted Woods is a little bit more consistent, I'm gonna put it above Final Battle but below Furious, because I think Furious is actually like a pretty solid song. This is the new Creo song, Heat Seeker, the newest song on this list. Honestly, it didn't really do it for me, especially for being a Creo song. I kind of had like higher expectations. I will say like the very end, like the beat switch up was pretty cool. That's kind of like the only thing I can give it. It sounds like background music to like racing, like a Mario Kart background soundtrack or like a Forza soundtrack, which kind of, judging by the fucking the image from Spotify, I think that that's kind of what the goal was. But I don't know, like from Creo, like for someone who made fucking Crazy, Flow, Dimension, like I don't know, bro. It's definitely like not to the standard of a Creo song, but they did say that they were trying something different, so no hate to Creo. I wouldn't say it's decent. I do think it's above decent. I think that it's like at the level of a Bass After Bass 2.0. I'm not gonna lie, so I'll just keep it right there. And we'll get to the rest of this list tomorrow. It's pretty late, and I still got some things that I need to do, so I think we're about halfway done, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, good morning, everybody. It's the next day, so let's get right back into it. I think we're at high score. Pretty fire, I'm not gonna lie to you. 70 million on YouTube for a reason. I think it's at the level of a Gravity. I think I'll put it like slightly above Gravity, but below First of the Year, because again, that's like a classic. This is like a high quality song. I don't think it's as good as Drippy Dub. And then the reason why you have like Energy Drink, Drippy Dub, above like your Deadlocked, your Dimension, is because not only are they high quality songs, but they're like classics. So, or Drippy Dub, I don't know if it's like a classic, but it's just like a perfect embodiment of what dubstep is. And then Flow is just like really, really well done, really deep, and it has a lot of emotion. Holography by Garlean. I hope I said the name right. It's a really good song. It's the song that was used to one of my favorite levels of all time, X by Triaxis. Pretty solid. I'll put it at great. I don't think it's quite at like amazing, because it kind of just lacks the complexity and the depth that a lot of these levels up here have. But I still think it's like, I don't know, I'd say it's better than, I think right here is a pretty good placement, right above Betrayal of Fear, right below Deimos. Hop by Stifles, which is their best song in my opinion. I'm a little biased because I am using this song for an upcoming level that I'm gonna verify. That aside, I've been thinking about it for a while. I think that it is A tier. It's really catchy. It's a really catchy song. The drop is very good, and then the post drop is like kind of just epic. You know what I mean? Also, it has like the first half, second half problem that I was talking about, but honestly, like you don't really care because the drop is just so unique that you don't mind hearing it again for a second time. But obviously, as a song in and of itself, I'm gonna have to take the fact that the second half is very, very close to the first half in consideration. So I think in terms of a song, I'll put it, I think it's closer to like Genesis, to a Classical VIP. Living Tombstone, I Can't Fix You. So honestly, this is going to be hard for me to place because, well, first of all, it's like a FNAF song, and I'm not going to lie to you, those like FNAF songs were not a part of my childhood. I'm not going to lie. Five Nights at Freddy's definitely was, but those songs that came like out with every game as a theme song, that I don't know, that just has no bearing on my childhood personally. Don't get me wrong, like bro, when Markiplier was fucking on FNAF, bro, I remember sitting in my elementary, or was I in middle school by then? I think I was in 5th grade, and I remember like literally sitting there and watching Markiplier play Five Nights at Freddy's. I remember like the whole craze and shit. The lyrics of this song, for me at least, has like a deeper meaning than what is actually like being represented by the lyrics. So essentially it's like Baby talking to Afton, but like for me it's like obviously more emotional, but I don't know, I think that's just like how I interpret the lyrics of the song. It has like a couple hundred mil on YouTube. Honestly, I'm gonna put it, I was gonna put it masterpiece because of the lyrics, but I think that that's just like, it just connects to me more so. It has nothing to do with like an interpersonal relationship, how I interpreted it. Make me awake, you make me hurt, I can't fix you. That's just deep as fuck. But obviously, it's talking about like a character in a video game. So I don't know. I was gonna put it masterpiece. I think that we can put this, I think like right underneath Flow is pretty good. Like I mean, like the dubstep is absolute fire, and then you have like really good lyrics. So I am going to put that above Drippy Dub because the dubstep quality is similar to Drippy Dub, not in terms of sound, but just in terms of quality. And then you have lyrics on top of that. So, okay, this is In Circles by Creo. Okay, so we're just doing bangers back to back. Okay. So I do think it's a better song than Sphere. I think that if we have Geometry Dash's cut, and if we're just talking about like the Geometry Dash cut of In Circles, I would put it masterpiece, honestly. I don't know, it's a very nice build up. The song kind of takes you on a journey. There's not like too much more that I can say. I mean, I like the sound, I like the hook is like really entertaining to listen to. I think that it's like a way better hook than Sphere, to be honest. And then you have like towards the second half, like the drums that kick in, like when it gets kind of quiet, and then you got the drums kicking in, and then the music builds up, and then it eventually builds up to the drop. During that part, That's where I kind of like the Geometry Dash version because it just gets right to the point. That in Circles, like by Creo, that segment kind of like is drawn out for a little bit, and that's the only thing keeping it away from Masterpiece in my opinion. So I'm gonna put it right here, right underneath Living Tombstone, because in my opinion these are interchangeable. So I'm gonna put it right here above Drippy Dub, above Energy Drink. Yeah, I think it's that high quality of a song. Invincible. So here's the thing about Invincible. It kind of repeats itself towards the end, like around that 3-minute mark. Is where it starts to kind of repeat itself. And then that in between, like between the first and second half, it kind of loses me. It's like, okay, like we had a really good thing going. Like, what are we doing? But those flaws aside, that's what's keeping it away from Masterpiece. I think it's a masterpiece if you consider the first 2.5 minutes and you just cut it off there, or like 2.5 minutes and then like the last 30-45 seconds of the song are included. Then yeah, I'd say you have a masterpiece on your hands. But honestly, like this is going kind of like with First Year. It's like a classic dubstep song. It's like a pure embodiment of dubstep. Honestly, I think it's like a perfect, I'm gonna put it right next to First of the Year because it's like a perfect embodiment of like what dubstep is, and the amount of like YouTube videos that used it as background music in like the earlier days of like YouTube gaming is just insane. You have Idolize by Creo. Honestly, I'm gonna put it at good, and I think this is like the lowest ranking Creo song. I think that I wouldn't say identity crisis, but it definitely struggles in terms of what it wants to be. This is the background song to Oblivion and Geometry Dash, and the Oblivion part of the song is pretty entertaining to it, but it kind of sounds like two different songs put together. I don't know. It's not that it doesn't mesh well, but it just creates the feel that it doesn't really know what it wants to be until we get to Oblivion, and then it's like, okay, well, like we found it. Unlike like Bass Night, right? It's like we found it, but what was all that shit beforehand? That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people really like this song, but in terms of my opinion, I'm going to put it above Fairy Dust. I Said Meow. I mean, honestly, it's okay. It has its like hook, its drop, the post drop, and then it kind of just does the same thing over again. So honestly, I'm gonna say it's like, is putting it below Bass After Bass 2.0 crazy? I think it's like the same level as like a Code Red. Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, so this is Isolation. So we're gonna do the not just the Nighthawk version, we're gonna do the Geometry Dash version, the one remixed specifically for Limbo, because I think that adds a lot of depth to the song itself. I think that Isolation, like the original, has like a hook. The variations that occur aren't really that like noticeable. You know, just kind of sounds like the hook being played over and over and over again with like some new elements in the background. But like this remix, you know, adds some depth. Like when you get to Jazer's part, like the background music kind of decreases in volume so that the hook is like more like doop 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 doop, like there's more emphasis on it. The climax of the song kind of feels more substantial. I just think that all around, like this remix makes Isolation like a much better song. So, because Underneath Clutterfunk is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I mean, it's not crazy, but like for this being this song, I think, yeah, it's closer to like a Genesis. Yeah, I'd say it goes above Genesis. I'd say if it goes above Genesis, it also goes above Hop. I do like Hop better as a song, but I think that this is just more like the remix. If we're going off of like the normal version, then it would be down here, but I think I'll put it right underneath Classical VIP. I think that's fine. Jawbreaker, this song is sick. Like, actually listen to it. Like, not the Jawbreaker side. Like, Zenthic used the wrong half of the song, bro. Like, the actual full Jawbreaker, like when we get into the remix, oh my god, bro. Like, that shit was hard. That shit was tough. Right underneath Deimos. I think that's pretty fair for now. Jumper, I say it's better than Back on Track, below Bass After Bass. It's just like basic as fuck, you know what I mean? And honestly, like the very beginning of the song kind of sounds like whimsical, kind of weird in my opinion. Yeah, that's where I think like in terms of my opinion, I think that's pretty accurate. Like I would consider the fact that it's not just a Geometry Dash song, so that might be the reason why it's, it sounds kind of different. But overall, I think it's just, I mean, it's less than 2 minutes. It's like a minute and a half. So like not a lot of, in my opinion, effort. I think I can say that because it's a Water Flame song, and then like I've rated songs like Final Battle, Haunted Woods. Like there's obviously a very, very sharp difference in terms of quality. Honestly, bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I don't think that this is one tier away from Final Battle. I don't think that it's only one tier lower than Haunted Woods, bro. Like, fuck out of here, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Y'all might be mad. I don't give a fuck. That was Jumper. This is Lost by Crims. So this is the song that was used for Slaughterhouse, and I want you guys to like pretend that Slaughterhouse never existed. Okay? Now, I am going to be doing the Geometry Dash version of this song, but like the original song, it's not anything like special, honestly. It's like a bunch of like yelling with some hi-hats and snares and a little bit of bass as like a backtrack. Like it's not anything crazy. But then you add in, and I also don't think it's like that high quality of a song. But then the Geometry Dash version of that song does not have that problem. It has the atmosphere, like I'm probably gonna go to hell anyway. Like that's the like in the beginning, and then it builds up, and then the drop is sick. I will admit. And then after that, though, like let's just like remove Lost and Slaughterhouse. Okay, Slaughterhouse is over here. We're just looking at Lost by Crims. Honestly, it's I think Bass After Bass is a better song. I'm not gonna lie. As a song in and of itself, I do think Bass After Bass is better. And I'm not trolling. Y'all can disagree, but I really don't care. The Geometry Dash, the Geometry Dash version of the song, okay, fine. I think that, I think my assessment is correct. I think it's worse than Can't Let Go. And I say worse as in like not as good, not to say that it's bad. Little Crow's Speed by Jesse Valentine. I am a little bit biased because Supersonic is one of my favorite levels in the entire game. My first Insane Demon. And then I also used it for 2 levels that I made. And that was my biggest journey on Geometry Dash to date. So like the song kind of resonates with me, and I've been listening to it for over a decade. That being said, I'm going to just put my bias aside and admit the fact that it is just like a bunch of noise. So like it's a bunch of noise that like influxes and then goes down and then goes up again, and then you have like the in the back. So honestly, I'll say that it's good. I think like the slowdown is pretty fire. I think it's above like Fracture. I think it's above. Okay, I think this is a good place for it. I think it's right underneath Idolize. Okay, now we have Menace. Now I do have to consider the fact that Menace was made specifically for a Geometry Dash level, while most of the other songs that's not the case. I'm gonna separate the art from like the other bit of art because I think that it complements Menace beautifully, and I think all things considered, the fact that it was made by the creator of Menace, and it's like a complete original piece of work, I think that it's really impressive. But at the same time, if I'm just gonna take that away, like if I'm gonna take Menace away from Menace and look at Menace as a song, let's not lie, it's pretty first half carried. That being said, the first half is very, very good. It loses me towards the second half because it's just a bunch of like that's all it is, which works for the level, but not as much like for the song. So I'll put it above Firepower, but I don't know. I think MDX kind of worked a little too hard for me to just put like Menace above it. Not to say that Manny Heffley didn't work hard on Menace, but like it's very much, for me at least, first half carried. Then we have Milky Way's Boss Fight. Okay, so I don't really like the sound of Boss Fight's music, if that makes sense. Like they have a distinct sound, and it just doesn't really resonate with me. That being said, I have to put it up here. Or no, does it go above high score? I say it goes above high score. Or maybe not. I think that it can be used more than high score can in terms of like background music for different games and whatnot. But at the same time, I think high score is just like a bit higher up in terms of quality. Actually, I also think that, yeah, I think that we're going to put it low S tier. I think that this is Boss Fight's best song, Milky Ways. In a similar sense to like Final Battle or like Haunted Woods, that you're in the middle of like something, like a boss fight. So yeah, living up to the name of the artist. Nine Circles. Okay. Nine Circles, I don't think it's as good as Jawbreaker as a song. I think that the first half is kind of like, I think it tries to figure itself out at its first half, and then it finally gets there during its second half, which is the part that we used for Nine Circles. But then when it actually figures itself out, it like really knows what it's doing. Definitely like A tier songs and above, like you would listen to. I mean, you could listen to any of these songs. Like I listen to a lot of these songs just like, you know, outside the game, but like these like A tier, like I would recommend this song to like non-Geometry Dash players. Like you don't really need to, you know, have a connection to like any particular level, or there doesn't need to be like a song to level connection that you associate with Geometry Dash in order to find the song more enjoyable. I think A tier and above is just like music you can listen to on your own, and I definitely think that Nine Circles fits that description. This is Now We're Talking by Madhouse Dude. This is the song used for one of my other favorite levels, which is Airtime by Nazgo. I just like the drop. I like the pre-drop and I like the drop, and then it kind of like dies down, and then the song kind of repeats itself again, kind of in similar fashion to Hop. It's kind of like a repeat, but like you don't mind the repeat because the sound quality or the song quality is so high to begin with. So I mean, it's very original, very distinct. I do think it's better than Nine Circles, X-Core. I think Finger Bang has like its own distinct sound, and it sticks to it so well that I can't put Now We're Talking above it, but definitely like a solid song. Okay, now we have Nuke Powder, which is the song to Thinking Space 2, which is the current top 1 of Geometry Dash, so it has a lot of notoriety because of that. I like the piano in the beginning. It kind of sounds not ominous, but you know, like a little bit of a head bob towards the beginning. But honestly, like the Thinking Space 2 part of the song is where it really starts to shine. It's kind of like a short but sweet kind of song, and I think that they did a really good job with its execution for I think it's like for what it is, it's pretty good. I'll put it, I don't think it's as good as Nine Circles. I'll put it above Dark Dragonfire, below Nine Circles. Okay, Boss Fight gives me like Japanese TV show, Japanese game show kind of feel. The last quarter of the song kind of repeats the drop, which at that point I don't really think that it's like the same thing as like first half, second half being identical. But honestly, like, there's a bunch of, like, weird, random noises interspliced throughout the middle of the song. I think that the middle of the song kind of slows down to a degree to where it doesn't, like, pick itself back up, like, through the first half. And I think the drop is kind of, like, okay. You know, I think for the vibe that it was going for, it does a really good job. But overall, I'm going to put it at decent. I'll put it above Cry just because Cry is so like short. I think that this is like a fair placement because it actually feels like a complete song that sticks to a particular theme, which is more than what I can say for a lot of like what's indecent. Now we have Phobos from Sulkreg, and honestly, like I already expressed, I don't think it's as good of a song as Deimos. I think Deimos is like a better structured song. I think that it's put together a little bit more professionally, if you will. I think Phobos is kind of a niche song I really like it, but again, like, let's ignore the fact that Phobos is a legendary level in the game, and let's just focus on the music. Definitely has like a darker atmosphere to it, and I think that it's imposing. It fits that vibe pretty well. I think after the Phobos segment is done, it kind of like just does its own thing, and it's like, yeah, you stay over there. Like, we'll take the first 2/3 of the song, and you could keep like the last third. Like, after like the guy yells blood for the blood god, and it sounds like the guy's getting fucking tortured or something, whatever's going on. Something strange was definitely going on. All right, let me not elaborate. But yeah, at that point I think that it kind of just loses me. But okay, yeah, I think it's better than Fairy Dust. I think that it's around like Ludicrous speed quality. So yeah, Polargeist, let's just put that right there. I'm not gonna lie, this shit is like Jumper in terms of song structure, but worse. Who made Polargeist, by the way? I want to know like what the fuck they were on, bro. Like, it's just not like it's like a whatever song, you know what I mean? It's just like a okay kind of song. Like, yeah, legendary level obviously, but like the song is like below mid. Poltergeist by Ruckus. You know, the Poltergeist, like where it starts off, where the hook kind of gets like lower pitch, like the do 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 do, and then you hear like the background, and then this shit repeats itself, do 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 do, and then it like builds up. I think that pre-drop is super fire. And then you have like the rest of the song, which is okay, but then it tries to do the same thing again, and I just don't think that it encapsulates the same feeling as what it did towards the first half. So I'm gonna put this. I also think that it's Ludicrous speed, kind of like around that range. So I'll put it below Ludicrous speed. Okay, Radioactive by Waterflame. If you remember Radioactive, then you're for sure an OG. It does give me like a radioactive, toxic, like environment kind of vibe. Definitely some interesting and distinct techno there. I will say, after like the song is done and it goes into the doo doo doo, it kind of loses me. It kind of feels like it tries to be another song, and then it like reels its way back in. But like for the time, it was a pretty good song. I think that's fair for now. Okay, Razor Sharp. This was a song that, again, my IRL friend had me listen to in the whip. And bro, honestly, okay, so we haven't gotten to what's, in my opinion, the best song on this list, and I let him listen to that song. He was like, that was good. Like, that was like a 6.5 out of 10. And I'm like, okay. And then he plays this shit for me, and I'm like, okay, well, if that was a 6.5, this is like a 4 out of 10. Like, what are we talking about? And then he was like, okay, I respect it. I'm like, what the fuck? But anyways, I think that the build-up is pretty good. I think that the drop is pretty good as well. Like, just pure dubstep. I don't think it does a good job of reinventing itself in the second half. Again, it falls victim to the first half, second half problem. But I would still put it like, I think we can be nice. We can put it in A tier. I think it's above Dark Dragonfire. Yeah, okay. I don't think it's above Nine Circles. I think that it's good enough to be above Nuke Powder, and yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, so we have Ricochet Love, which is actually in the same album as I think it's Space Pirates. But yeah, I think that this is a really good song. It's funny that like Amethyst was a song that's used for it, because it literally feels like you're exploring like in some sort of cave, and you stumble upon something like pretty cool. Honestly, it feels like a I don't know, like a Friv computer game background music kind of vibe. I don't know. Shout out if you remember Friv. Okay, I'll say it's above Gravity. I don't think it's above High Score as a song. Yeah, I think it's a very strong song, honestly. Robot Language. This is one of my favorite songs, like favorite dubstep songs when I was younger. And if you go like way back into my channel, you can kind of confirm that. But we're not gonna get into that. It's a pretty strong song. It lives up to its title. It sounds like robots are talking to you, like especially in the beginning, in the pre-drop. The drop is pretty good, and I think that like I don't know, it kind of takes you on a journey. Like it doesn't repeat itself. The song doesn't repeat itself. I couldn't really get into other Mega Nico songs, but I do think that this is their best song, and for that reason, I'm gonna put it. Honestly, it's similar quality as Ricochet. Well, I think I'll put it above Milky Way's boss fights, and then I'll put it underneath Gravity. And that second drop, oh my god, that second drop was fucking insane. Well, anyways, we have Sakupin Hell. I think that it does Atmosphere very, very good, or very, very well. It's like two songs in one, right? Like it's very, very strong. I will say, like towards the end, it's kind of like okay, it's like it wants to end, but it just keeps on going and going and going until it finally just like fades off into existence. Yeah, I think that this is a strong song. I'm gonna put it underneath Yatagarasu and above Deimos, simply because I think it gets Atmosphere way better than Deimos does, and then it also gives you like two really strong songs at once. But Yatagarasu like kind of tells a story. I think that Atmosphere is like I don't think the Atmosphere is as good as Sakupin Hell, but it like tells a story, bro. We have Scream Room by Extruller, and honestly, don't get me wrong, one of the sickest, probably the hardest drops out of any of the songs that we're going to be going over. Probably in all of, well, okay, not in all of dubstep, but like it's up there. Like one of the sickest drops. Oh my god. But then it like turns into like a completely different song after the fact, and it's like, bro, what is happening? And then it tries to repeat the drop, and it's like, no, like it doesn't feel the same after the shit that you just pulled. I mean, all these are more consistent, so I'll put it right here. But like, yeah, I mean, that's just what happens when it's like first, third carried. Like, oh my goodness. Shiaway's VIP, or it's a Japanese word, so I think it's Shiawase. But anyways, it's the song for Tidal Wave, and it's also a Rocket League song. Yeah, I think it's a very strong song, very upbeat. It's like a song that you would listen to outside of either of those games. I'm gonna put it above Yatagarasu. I think I'm gonna do that. I don't think it's quite at S tier. I think that it's a very strong song, but it's not like overly stand out. I think the hook is kind of like too pervasive. I'm not gonna lie. I think that like you have like the hook do 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 do, and then it's like that for the entire part, except for like when you have both drops, and then you have like the I think it's a piano. Again, I'm not a fucking musician, but the do 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 do. But then you still have like the vocals in the background, like interspliced throughout that. So I do think that that's like a flaw that I can see that keeps it from being. You know what? Fuck it, bro. I don't think that fucking Boss Fight is a better song than that. I do think Robot Language, I think it's about the same as Robot Language. How about that? We have Shiver. I think this is better dubstep. I think this sounds better than Shiver. I will say that it's above every end, so I think that this is a good spot for Shiver. It takes a while to get to where it wants to go, but once it gets to like the cold sweat part of the song, absolute fire. Really entertaining. The bro, that shit is fucking gas. We have Silent Hill dubstep. Like I haven't played Silent Hill, so maybe it's like a really good love letter to the song. For now, I think it's like the same as like a Death Note dubstep kind of track. I think it does the same thing, so I'm gonna put it right next to each other. I do think Death Note dubstep is a little bit more entertaining to listen to, but yeah, Atmosphere is insanely good. Sine Waves or Sine Waves, it literally doesn't have an E, so I don't fucking know. To me, it should be Sine Waves, but if that's not how you pronounce it, forgive me. Anyways, it's literally like same structure as Nine Circles, just a little bit more complex, and it's more of a dubstep-y feel instead of like a darker atmosphere like a Nine Circles. So I'm gonna put it like right here. Again, like the first half and the second half sound like pretty identical, just like nine circles. Well, not nine circles, but more identical than nine circles. First and second half. But I did notice, fucking Ruckus. If you are watching this video, which you probably aren't, but I did notice that at the very end of the first half of the fucking drop, right, and then you have like the repeat, the very end of the second half of the drop, right. They're the same sounds, but it's inverted. So like at the end of the first drop, it's like do 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 do, and then like the end of the second drop is like ding 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 ding. Very very clever, very very good way of mixing it up. Okay, Sky and Soul. So we finally got to Sky and Soul, and honestly, it's the best song on this list. Like I really don't care. Straight masterpiece. So it starts off slow, right? Nice and slow, kind of soulful, and you get bits and pieces of like the second half of the song, or like the ending of the song. I'll say like the last quarter of the song, like interspliced into this beginning, and then it like slowly picks up, then it picks up, and then it just has like the best like the most dubstep like drop, like, and so like that drop in and of itself is already like at the quality of like a drippy dub, of like an Invincible, like a high score. Like it gives you that same like dubstep, that high quality classic dubstep feel. And then it has an in between, which is just kind of like a head bob. You know, it's not boring, you know, unlike like a lot of the in between sections, and a lot of these songs are kind of just like but like this one keeps you hooked. And then it like just quiets, right? And then it's you're just left with like little hums, and then, you know, nothing. And then you get the ding ding, and then, oh my god, bro, the most soulful fucking piece of music, like high quality. Like think of Flow, bro. Like think of fucking, I don't know, Drippy Dub and Flow combined, I guess. Like that's how it feels. Like you're getting two bangers in one, and it's perfectly meshed together. Like definitely Creo's best work in my opinion. My goodness, bro. Like you had other fucking like song artists like highly impressed with the song. I saw it in the comments. Like other producers were like, damn, bro. Like, yeah, imagine like Michael Jackson put out fucking Beat It, and then like after Beat It it's all upbeat, and then like there's like an in-between section, and then it just gets softer, and then you hear ding 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 ding, and then Billie Jean starts playing, bro. Hey, don't get it fucked up. None of these songs are fucking Beat It or Billie Jean, but I will say that it's kind of like the dubstep equivalent. Like you're getting two bangers in one, perfectly meshed together, Sky and Soul. All right, I'm done glazing. Let's Freaking Party by F-777. That's the name of the album. This song is Sonic Blaster. Now, I'm not gonna lie, my when I was younger, my mom's one of her boyfriends, her old boyfriends, took me to like get wings, and I remember like playing him this song, and then he listened to it and he was like, oh my god, this makes me want to blank myself. And I can kind of see why, because it is just a bunch of noise. But honestly, like if we're looking at it from a dubstep perspective, it's very well done in terms of how upbeat it feels. The piano, like it sort of calms down with the piano, and then it like you have F-777 horns, if you will, like in between like the slow part, and then when it picks itself back up, I think it picks itself up again really really well, and then it repeats the first half. But like the first half is like distinct enough, like the hook, if you will, is distinct enough to where like it's acceptable to reuse it. So I don't think it's like the first half second half problem. I think that it's like a really well composed song. I'll put it, I'd say it's above Jawbreaker, underneath Deimos. I think that's fair enough. Okay, this is Speedbreaker by Dejander. I think that like Dejander has a certain sound, and I think that they stuck to it pretty well, like a pretty like upbeat techno kind of feel. And I think that this song like perfectly encapsulates like their style of music. I'd say it's above the Furious, to be honest. Or above Furious. It's like at that same level, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's at that level. I think Furious executes itself a little better. I think Furious is a little bit more emotional, which this is not emotional whatsoever. So Sphere, I'll put it high. Okay, so yeah, this is the first song that's like, okay, this is gonna take Flawless Wings' place as like the top of great. I do not think that it's like as good as what a lot of people say. I know it's like a community favorite, probably because of Zodiac. Okay, like we're just gonna cut all that noise out and we're gonna focus on it as a song. I think that like the saxophones, I think like the background music is what like makes it stand out. Like the sax in the background. I think the hook is like okay. The ding 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 ding. I think that it's like okay, you know, like I just said. I don't think it's like anything crazy, as in the hook. And then like you have like a really good drop. Once it quiets down, it's sort of like I don't know, like yeah, the sax is in the background, the do 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 do, like to kind of pick itself back up, but then it like lowers in intensity again, and then like the drop comes for the second time. Like for me, at least, I know that this is like probably gonna be on Masterpiece for a lot of people, but just for me, I think that Creo's improved on the formula a lot in some of his other songs. Like I think Flow is a much better song than Sphere. I think that In Circles is better than Sphere, which is the sequel to Sphere. I think Crazy obviously is a better song than Sphere. I'd say it's like borderline great, amazing. Like I think it's like close, but I don't know. The only reason why I have Milky Ways above it is because like Milky Ways sounds like, you know, you're overcoming something. It sounds like there's an actual like stuff going on. This just sounds like a good piece of music, you know what I mean? So it's at the top of great in my book. I'm sure it'll place higher in other people's, obviously, but for me, this is where it's gonna stay. Okay, Splatterhouse. Jesus Christ, this song makes me so mad because we're working with like the actual version of Splatterhouse, right? The work in progress version, which was the version that was used for Terminal Rampancy, that version sounds so much better than the final product in terms of intensity. Like the only difference really is the fact that like you have the drop instead of it being like doom da doom da doom like in this official version. It's like boom boom, like there's just more emphasis, right? Like you have like a fire buildup, a fire drop, and then you just cut down the intensity with each bang with the official version. Why would you remove like the intensity from the work in progress? The work in progress should have been no. This sounds like a work in progress. The work in progress sounds like the actual song. The consistency is the same, and then it's like, bro, you just repeated the same shit. It's the same thing, first half, second half, but like in the same sense as like a hop. Like I don't mind it. Like the sound is so distinct, and like the drop is so good, and it was so intense that I don't mind hearing it again. But when you cut out that intensity, it's just like, all right, bro, what are we doing? Like, I don't want to hear this shit. Like you already disappointed me, and now you're making me listen to this shit again. This is going into A tier. I would put it, yeah, I'd put it below Genesis. So now we're getting into Stalemate, which is the song that's used for Grief. Atmosphere is through the roof. I'm not gonna lie. Even if we take Grief out of it, or even Slaughterhouse out of the picture, like whatever you use for this song, it's just gonna give it so much more atmosphere. I think that the organs, it's like a better version of Deimos and Phobos. You know what I mean? That second drop, bro, holy, like that second drop is sick. And then the intensity increases and increases and increases, and then it just plateaus, and it goes back to like the do 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 do. Bro, this song is sick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna put it right underneath Chayawasi VIP, and above Milky Way's Boss Fight. This is Stalker. Okay, I'm gonna put it like This is the song that's used for VSC. So yeah, I'm gonna put it. I'll put it above Radioactive. I'm gonna put it underneath Lost. The reason why I'm putting it so low is because the only like good part of the song is like the VSC section of the song. What I will admit though is that it does have atmosphere. It sounds like you're kind of in a similar sense to like a Clutterfunk or like a Haunted Woods or Final Battle. It feels like you're stumbling upon a problem, and like as the song plays, it sounds like you're figuring out that problem and making progress. So for that reason, I'll put it above like, yeah, I'd say it's above Can't Let Go. Eyes in the Water. Okay, yeah, fine. I think that's fair. It's just like the standout portion of the song, it lasts for like 30 seconds. And that's why I'm putting it so low. The fuck is this? Stay Inside Me. Okay, pause, first of all. I don't know why, like, bro, that is the whole practice music. That is the name of the practice music. And nobody says pause, bro. Like, the song is called Stay Inside Me. Like, come on, bro. Okay, that being said, like, I think that it was used for the outro to like the GD 10-year anniversary video. And bro, that shit almost made me tear up, bro. Oh my gosh. This is nostalgia. But okay, I just looked at what y'all are gonna hate me in a second. But let's focus on this first. So yeah, I think that this is a really well done song. It doesn't like vary outside of the fact that like the second drop increases the pitch a bit, but then after that it kind of just like does the same thing over again. I still say it's like great. I'd still say it's above, yeah, I'd say it's above Sikoop in Hell. Underneath Flawless Wings because, yeah, I mean, Flawless Wings is like a straight vibe. Stereo Madness, y'all are really gonna hate me, but this is going in poor. Stereo Madness, I mean, bro, it's like the same structure as like a bass after bass, a Can't Let Go, a Back on Track, but it just somehow feels even more basic. It's literally just do 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 the whole time with some snares in the background, bro. It's like, bro, or some claps, whatever the fuck. It just doesn't do that much at all. And I don't blame Forever Bound because like it was made like what 15 years ago. Yeah, it just doesn't do that much. It sounds less weird than Jumper, and Polargeist is just like a whatever ass song. I do think it's more substantial than like a Polargeist, but honestly, it lacks depth, it lacks complexity, no emotion. It doesn't even have like I commonly say like the first half, second half problem. Like, okay, that assumes that like a full song has occurred, right? Like to have a first half, to have a second half. This doesn't even feel like a full song. And I understand that like it's straight nostalgia. It's the first level everybody plays. Everybody's played Stereo Madness. Everybody has heard the music. Honestly, like what's more nostalgic is like Stay Inside Me, pause. The main menu music to me is more nostalgic than Stereo Madness. Deadlocked is more nostalgic than Stereo Madness. And I beat Stereo Madness way before Deadlocked even came out. So yeah, it just really doesn't do it for me. This is what's the Extruder song called? It's called Supernova. Okay, yeah, because we're at S. Supernova. It has some decent, bits of music in there, interspliced in. It just seems like maybe like 3 different songs kind of jumbled together. But I will say that kind of fits like the Supernova kind of vibe if we go off of the fact that like something new occurs or is born from a supernova, whether that be like a black hole or a fucking a nebula. Yeah, it definitely feels like you're coming into something new. I will say like the silent circles part of the song is my favorite part, but I don't think it fits the rest of the song. Like it just becomes like dark for whatever strange reason, and then it goes back into it being like sort of triumphant. if you will. I think it's above Scream Room, definitely over these songs. Is it above? Okay, is it lower than Fairy Dust though? Okay. Where is it? Okay. All right. Surface by Dim Rain 47, which is funny because I'm currently working on Artificial Ascent, which is the song that sort of popularized this, or the level that popularized this song because it used it for its level. I'm gonna put it in A tier for sure. It feels like you're in a training montage, right? It feels like you're overcoming a problem, like when it hits that doo 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 doo, like if that's what it feels like, and then it kind of like dies down, kind of gets sort of somber, sort of like just a little bit of emotion in there with the piano, and then it picks back up, and then like in the second portion of the second drop, it comes back like higher pitched and whatnot. I think that it definitely takes you on a journey. So I think that it's about the same as like a Stay Inside Me. Pause. I think it's right here. I think it's less niche than Flawless Wings, so I am gonna put it above it, and I think it has the quality to be above Flawless Wings. I don't think it's above Spear though. I think Spear, in terms of like an actual song, is a little bit better, just slightly. Yeah, I definitely like Surface. The Seven Seas, obviously it fits that pirate vibe, but it just repeats itself way too much. Like, I think the first half is literally identical. Like I said, I told you Jesse Valentine does not give a fuck at all. I'll put this at decent above the rest of these. The Empire of the Toads. All right, so obviously I'm black. So y'all should already know that I'm putting this shit in F tier, bro. Like, what is going on, bro? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I had the idea of a video, I'm like, damn, I really like a lot of these dubstep songs, and not a lot of them are gonna be in like D and F tier. I'm like, I need something to put in F tier. So I literally went and grabbed this song, bro. What the fuck was going on in this song? First of all, like, it just sounds weird. like the doop, 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 doop. And honestly, like I was listening to it like a couple weeks ago when I was studying, and I was like, you know what, like, you know, there's something there, and then it fucks it up. Like the drop is completely, like, the bass is too loud. Like, not even like I love loud bass, but it's like a crackly kind of loud, you know what I mean? And then like some nigga like said something to me like before like the other fucking drop, and I'm like, what the fuck? What is happening? The only like good part of this song to me is like after the drop, it's like like that was kind of fire. And then I was like, okay, there might be something there. And then somebody like literally spoke words to me, and then played that annoying ass drop, bro. That loud ass bass, bro. I don't know what like. It feels like a joke, bro. Like, no disrespect to Boss Fight. It feels like a troll song, bro. We have the Hallucination by Dejander, and I think that this is Dejander's best song. After like the hallucination part ends, it kind of like loses me. It's kind of like a whatever. And then it like replays the drop. I think it finally finds itself when it replays the drop again, but like with a little bit more intensity, or like it replays the pre-drop again. That being said, one of the hardest drops ever, bro. Kind of like, it's not like as hard of a drop as Scream Room, but like that drop was definitely tough. Okay, in terms of the song, it's kind of inconsistent, so I am gonna put it below. I'll put it below Genesis, just because the like after the first half, it just gets like so repetitive and weird. Well, not weird, but it's just like it just doesn't know what it's trying to do, and it kind of drags on for a while. But I do think that it's undeniably better than like as good as Splatterhouse is as a song. Like, X-Core, I just want you to know that you fucked up, bro. Theory of Everything 2. I think Rob Top's version of Theory of Everything 2 was really good, but I think that it just takes a while to get to core aspects of the song, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of like roundabout goofy shit in the song that just doesn't need to be there, like the ding 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 ding, and then it's like it repeats that like 3 or 4 times before it gets to like the next part of the song. And by the next part, I mean like the next part in like the Rob Top edited version of Theory of Everything too. So I think that this goes in good, above Scream Room, above I Said Meow, above Fracture, above Dry Out. Okay. Honestly, I think Menace is a better song than Theory of Everything 2, just because Theory of Everything 2 is pretty inconsistent. Thermodynamics, which is the song used for Acheron, so another top one. I think that it's one of DJ Nate's best. I think it is his best song, actually. We're gonna put it. I think it's a better song than Sucoup in Hell. I think this is like electrodynamics done right. You know what I mean? Like electrodynamics without any of the inconsistencies. Like, yeah, thermodynamics is tough. Like the first half is really good. The second half is also pretty good. I'd put it above Stay Inside Me. Pause. Do we put it above Surface? I think it's just a little bit more to the point than Surface is. So, and I think that it doesn't really have any slow moments. I think the in-between is like the perfect length. It's like the perfect intermission between the first and second half. So, yeah, I am going to put it right underneath Spear. Even though I like Thermodynamics better than Sphere, I think Sphere is just like a technically more impressive song. So, okay, the Yandere's Puppet Show, 2 bangers in one. The Yangere and the Yandere. Why don't I pronounce it how I always pronounce it? I'm not going to switch up now. We say the Yangeyer in this bitch. On this channel, we say the Yangeyer, you feel me? It's definitely unique. It's definitely an acquired taste. Definitely like a descent into madness kind of song. I think it's good. I'll put it like, I think it's pretty interchangeable with Speedbreaker. It's not rocket science, or this isn't rocket science. I think this is one of his better songs in a way. Like it's definitely like a head bob, definitely high energy. But then it also has like little jingles that, I don't know, it kind of feels Christmassy to me. I don't know if that's like it gives the same vibes to you guys, but I think it's above Deimos. I think it's more consistent than Sucoupin, so I'll put it here. I think it mixes it up a little bit more than Stay Inside Me does. I don't think it can fuck with Yadagarasu just yet, so this is Thunder Zone 2, and this is the song for The Golden. Funny enough that VOC is based on The Golden, because I think that this song falters kind of in the similar sense that Stalker does, where like only a little bit of it is interesting. I think it makes for a pretty good background music. I think that the theme is kind of the same as Stalker in terms of you like overcoming something, but I think that like it gives off the vibe of like a dangerous environment that you have to navigate, instead of like Stalker makes you. Honestly, Stalker does sound like you're coming across a mystery and you're unfolding what that mystery is. I think that these are very strong songs in terms of its vibe, but as a song, you know, like for listening entertainment value, I think it's just better off as background music. Time Leaper is gonna be up here in Masterpiece. I'll even put it above one of my favorite songs, which is Crazy. Honestly, okay, I'm not gonna put it above Crazy. I think Crazy is a little bit more consistent. Looking at it from straight like music, like from that sort of perspective, like very high quality music. Again, it takes you on a journey, brings out the emotion. I think it's really good. I do think it's better than Flow. I think it's up there in terms of Masterpiece. Time Machine, it's kind of the same as these other ones, in my opinion. The hook isn't really like anything crazy. Like do 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 do. I mean, I don't know, and I don't really think the vibe is right either. Which Waterflame is really good at, like making vibes. I don't know. I think it's pretty close to Lost. Tria. I think this is Extruler's best song. The Nemesis portion of Tria is super, super fire. I do think that it struggles to keep its same energy after that portion of the song is over with. Yeah, I think it's above Shiver. Okay, hold on. I think it's above Every End. This is what, like, When You See, what's this shit called? Okay, this is When You Find Me, which is Honestly, it doesn't really feel like dubstep. It feels like TikTok kind of background music. Like, with that aside, I do think that it's a pretty strong song. I think that I'll put it right here next to like Nira Shayawasi, Nira a stalemate, kind of emotional, you know, in a sense. And it's just like really like just a calm piece of music, you know what I mean? So Viking Dance Machine, this is going in F tier. It's just because like it's not because the hook isn't interesting, it is. It just repeats itself over and over and over and over again. Like, oh my gosh, it is better than Empire of Toes, so let's like swap that around. But god dang. Damn it, Jesse. Like, he does not give a I already told you, he does not give a fuck about that problem. The ending is really interesting. It's like when it gets interesting, but like again, it just repeats itself like 50 fucking times before it gets to that ending that's interesting. Then we have Windfall, another classic. I'll put it right here. I think it's, or honestly, okay, if Sphere is right here, then I'm gonna put Windfall at great. I think that it's like a calm sort of dubstep song. It's not like really like anything too crazy in my opinion, but I think that like the vibes are there. The vibes are right. And that's pretty much what it is. It's pretty much like just vibes, you know. So I am going to keep it at A tier. I think that these are all like better pieces of music. It's a lot less niche. So I'll put it above. I'll put it above Flawless Wings because it appeals to like a way wider audience. All right, 10K by Cold Breaks. This is your like run of the mill, high energy dubstep song, bro. This nigga Cold Breaks, bro. Look on YouTube. Look at the video for the song. At the drop, he put like a spinning picture of himself, like a rotating 360-degree picture of himself. I'm like, this nigga is stupid, bro. And then at the ending, like the last 30 seconds, it gets pretty interesting. I'll put it, yeah, I think that's fair. I'll put it at good. I think that all of these are like they're either unique or like just like really, really well put together bodies of work. I feel like 10,000 isn't really that unique, but it is high quality. 1077 is like, okay, so remember the critiques that I made with Bass Night? I think that 1077 is if Bass Night figured itself out. I think that this is like just like a better version of Bass Night, to be honest. Like the last minute of the song is kind of like where we should have started to wrap shit up, you know what I mean? But it kind of feels like electric, you know, and then it has like that temperature increase kind of sound in the back, and then like it gets quiet, and then like the hook plays itself, but like quieter, like softer, and then it like increases and increases, and then it comes back swinging in full motion. This is definitely a tough one. I think that it's fair to put it at great. I do think that this is Boom Kitty's best song. Okay, yeah, above 9 Circles, worse than X-Core Event Horizon. I think that's fair. And then the last one is 2011 by Cold Breaks. Is it 2011 or 2012? I think it's 2011. I don't know. I think it's decent. I said meow. It's kind of like the same kind of vibe, except 2011's a little more mellow. It's like powerful. The drop has like a higher emphasis on its noise and volume level. I don't know the exact instrument, but very distinct drop sound, and then it kind of like, you know, fades out, and then it brings itself back. I think that it's good. It's not anything crazy, but yeah. So yeah, here's my list. Let's zoom out a little bit. This is my full list. We have at the very top, Sky and Soul. I think that's the best song on here. Then we have At the Speed of Light, Crazy, Time Leaper. I think those are straight masterpieces. I do like my Amazing tier. I think that this is pretty fair. Some of these are obviously interchangeable, but yeah, I think that that's good enough. Sphere is gonna piss a lot of people off, but considering I put like Sphere right next to Thermodynamics, I think that, and Surface and the Fat Rat, I think that like they're pretty similar to each other in terms of overall sound quality. And then this is where like, you know, this is kind of in a tier of its own. All the way up to Clutterfunk, and then Clutterfunk is like in a tier of its own with everything else. Clutterfunk all the way down. I also think that, yeah, there's tiers within good just because there's so many different tiers. I also think there's tiers within like amazing. So I think like from flow all the way to like dimension, and then you have invincible to Milky Ways. I love Menace, it's just that it's so first half carried, bro, in my opinion. Then Scream Room, best drop ever, but like it just fucks off for like the rest of the song. I think these are fair to put in decent. Yeah, I think these are poor, and I think these are trash. Yeah, okay, yeah, I actually agree with this list. I'll be posting this after the fact. I'll be posting this on the Discord. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, peace out.